we're done. Let's get this beard sorted out. Right, I'm going to forward this about women and relationships. Okay, so if anyone doesn't know, Harry, how are you, my friend? I'm going to get rid of you. If anyone doesn't know who Charles Darwin was, I'm slightly concerned. You probably should have paid a little bit more attention in school. But Charles Darwin was an Englishman who, through scientific empirical observation, looked at the morphology of species in the Galapagos Islands and basically deduced a theory called evolution by natural selection. So the changing of species over time, due to natural selection. And the biggest driver of natural selection is the mating process. That's the biggest driver of natural selection. There are other drivers as well. Evolutionary biology is a fascinating thing to look into. There's so much to go into there. It's not a settled thing actually as it happened. I spent about a year going into it, and there really is a lot of debate, a huge amount of debate over it. But as a scientific theory, it's one that has been in its ascendancy for the last 200 years. And it might be the theory, along with some of Einstein's work, probably the most significant theory of the last 200 years. Hello, you kids, how are you, brother? So, yeah, the explanatory power of Darwin's work has proven to be very impressive. In the 1970s, they did something called evolutionary math. They applied a type of maths called game theory. They applied that to evolutionary biology, and they found that this actually had an even greater predictive power. So evolutionary biology is it's a developing field, and evolution as a theory is, as I say, is one of the most important of the last 200 years. Balthus, how are you, brother? So I'll be a little bit low energy on this live because I've traveled today over from Istanbul. It's been a long day. Here I am in my new apartment in Skopje. It's actually a really nice apartment. I'm very happy with it. There's the usual bullshit getting in here. Slavic taxi driver just being like, yes, there it's there. And I get in and it's like, okay, no, it's not, brother. So I'm in the middle of freaking Skopje on my own. It's not too late, but it's dark. It's 1 degrees outside. I'm freezing. I'm like, okay, well, here we go again. Yeah, I went to basically ended up going to a mall to buy a SIM card to then speak to because I didn't have signal, and speak to the landlords. But I get here eventually. So yeah, happy to be in Skopje. Happy to be back in Christian lands. But we're going to talk about today. I'm just going to ignore the comments because they seem quite dim-witted so far. This is really for entourage members and anyone who's actually serious who watches this back. But I'm going to talk today about the influence of evolutionary psychology and evolution on my understanding of male-female interaction. So this is a high intellect. I might actually just turn comments off because I'll leave them in there. Guys, if you're making stupid comments, I will honestly just kick you out. Solid Christian hairline, that's fine. Now that comment stands. So let's have I've got some notes prepared because it's a topic I've been thinking about both on a macro level and a micro level. I actually think there are entire social movements that can effectively be summarized in terms of sexual selection pressures, sexual selection warfare. There are entire social movements that have happened around that. I'm not going to go into that on this live. It's beyond the scope of this live. People like this live, if it's kind of a nerdy topic, but if people want me to, could actually expand some of those theories as well in a different one. So just to introduce myself to anyone who's new. I think there's a few newcomers on the live today. My name is Joseph. I'm an online worker. I'm a remote business owner. I travel the world. I've been traveling the world for the last 4 years. I've lived quite an interesting life. I've lived almost a double life between having a professional job and then also being a club promoter, a dance teacher. Had this kind of wild personal life for many years. And that lasted, all that was mainly happening between about 27 and 34, the bulk of that. And then at 34, I decided to go and live this remote lifestyle. And for the last 18 months, I've been exploring a new avenue of social dynamics, which is called daytime cold approach. It's where you basically literally walk up to women, apropos of nothing, in the streets, in the mall, in the coffee shop, and just approach them, pay them a compliment, get talking, and see if you actually like each other. And so a lot of the videos on this channel are related to cold approach. It's how I've met, recent girlfriends and so on. It's a really good way to meet people. So that's my introduction. But today I'm not going to be talking war stories. I'm not going to be talking so much approach. I'm actually going to be talking theory today. So if you're a nerd, if you're an overthinker, this is actually going to be great. This is going to be great. So the Entourage is a community I'm part of. We go back and forth on different ideas about approach, different experiences, and so on. And we share lots of books. There's all this reading going around, really interesting topics going around, from everything from like Iceberg Slim to spiritual books to all sorts of stuff, business books, all sorts of stuff. But one area I don't think we've looked at too much, and I actually think is by a very large margin the most important, is evolutionary psychology. The reason for that is there's very few theories in science which have more explanatory power than evolutionary theory. Very few. Dawkins's whole shtick is based on that. People don't like the atheist side of Dawkins, that's fine, but that's not actually anything to do with his real science. His real science is based on genetics, basically genes fighting each other. And what he found was the predictive power of evolutionary biology in the behavior of animals is basically 1-to-1. If you look at things through an evolutionary lens, you can predict animal behavior very clearly. So human beings, we're risen apes. Some people say we're fallen angels, but others would say we were risen apes because of evolution. And so we share many of these characteristics, if not all, to be honest with you. We think of ourselves as being super complex, but we are an evolved organism. We are an evolved organism. And so this is what I'm going to talk about here. Yeah, I'm a big fan of actually watching nature documentaries. I think you can learn a lot about human beings through watching animals, as bizarre as that sounds. Because especially apes, primates and stuff, because they're kind of us without the bullshit attached. They're us without a very sophisticated cortex. So they do a lot of similar stuff to us as well. And there's lots of different types of cultures in apes as well. It's really interesting. And I think some of these ideas are gonna correct anyone's thinking about being the alpha male. So if you watch, for example, apes, you watch even like literally silverback apes, the alpha male is very rarely the biggest, most aggressive ape. In fact, actually, that almost never happens. Almost never happens. It depends on the size of the group. In larger groups, it almost never is that one. And actually, the bigger ones don't tend to be the most aggressive. But it's almost always the male who has the ability to interact and lead and have kind of a level of authority within that little group. It's basically the most socially astute male. That's who it is. Because actually what he's able to do is he's able to get the even bigger silverbacks on his side because he's socially astute and he's able to see off challenges and so on and so forth. from other, younger males, all this type of thing, right? So even in that kingdom, which is the literal jungle, literally the law of the jungle, it's not the biggest, strongest meathead who goes around headbutting everybody that wins. It's the socially astute one. Okay. And human beings, we're obviously much more complex. We're vastly more complex than silverback gorillas. And so in our society, this is even more the case. This is even more the case. So why do men and women? Why are we sexually dimorphic species? Why are there men? Why are there women? We're sexually dimorphic because it offers our species basically a good reproductive strategy. We mix our genes, therefore we're constantly reimagining genes. The genes are constantly changing down the generations, and this is good because it means basically we're not uniform. If we were uniform, one disease could wipe a lot of us out, and that happens to like certain crops in farming. If you get one disease because they're asexual, they're all clones. One disease will wipe them all out. And so humans are sexually dimorphic for this species, for this reason. It's more complex. Reproduction is more complex as a result, but you get much greater genetic variety. Okay, so there you go. There's your reason. This is biology, year 11 biology. So it's a bit of a revision lesson for you there. So yeah, so why are humans mating and dating? It's because we're sexually dimorphic. If we were asexual plants, you wouldn't need any game. If you're a fucking sunflower, you wouldn't need any game, right? So let's just talk about, first of all, why men are attracted to women. This is a very simple one. There's obviously psychological reasons and so on. It's pleasant to have them around. But on a brute level, it is reproduction. It's reproduction. So a woman's reproductive capacity, reproductive value. And this is why men are most attracted to women in their mid-20s as opposed to in their mid-60s. And and no man is attracted to a woman in her mid-80s. It's not this like platonic, there's no platonic realm here with all this. We don't need religion. We don't need any of this stuff. You can have it and it can help you. But with this stuff, I personally find the evolutionary model to be way more powerful. So yeah, the reason you could have the most spiritually illuminated, amazing, intellectual genius. You could be Mary Curie and like Mother Teresa put into one person, right? And a beautiful person, but she's 85 years old. Ask yourself seriously, as a man, would you contemplate going to bed with her? I mean, just it's sick, right? To even think about, right? We have even repulsion against it. The very simple reason is our biology shapes us to want fertility. Shapes us to want fertility. So you notice in the entourage, every single guy in the entourage, basically, who's getting after it, pretty much everyone's got a girlfriend, mostly around the age of about 25, and pretty much everyone between about 23 and 31, 32. Yeah, because that's a fertility age, right? So women at that age, obviously there's more than just fertility that goes into it, but let's just focus on that for the time being. Women at that age are at a peak level of fertility. Their peak fertility actually is 23 to 27. Not necessarily peak attractiveness, but peak fertility is that age. Like a 16-year-old can have a child, but it's hard on their body. They're more liable to lose the child. They can't have them. 23, the female body is like basically mature enough, strong enough to pretty much guarantee they're going to have a healthy child. So 23 to 26, that's actually physiologically the peak age. And you'll notice that most of the guys in the entourage, whether they're 50 or 21, or going out with 25-year-olds, the girl I'm seeing is 25. So this is it's not, and it's not like it's instinct. It's not like people planning it. Okay, it's instinct. Obviously, other things come into consideration. Like, do you get on with the girl? Is she cool? Does she have a good career? So that does mean women can be competitive into their 30s, but I'm sorry, into their 50s. I'm sorry, that's just not real. That's not reality. Not for a guy who hasn't had children. For a guy who's had children, you've got a family with a woman. It's a different thing. That's when love takes over, basically. We're just talking evolutionary psych here. So yeah, so that's primarily what we're attracted to physiologically, is would she be, like, can she bear good children, basically? Is she athletic? Is she curvy? These types of things are what are going to attract us. Does she have good skin, good hair? These are all what we call fitness markers. Okay, I'm really going in the science here. These are fitness markers. And we say fit, or we say it like almost as a joke, like she's hot, but actually it literally means evolutionarily fit. I don't know if there is I don't know if there is a link between the two terms, but anyway, like if they actually have the same origin, but in evolutionary terms, they talk about fitness markers. Yeah, so a woman with a slim 25-inch waist, large breasts, large backside, strong thighs, nice, good skin, like nice eyes, beautiful hair. I don't care basically who you are, you're programmed, your genetic programming is pretty much going to make you attracted to her. It's going to. Even if the girl's like, you like blondes, but she's freaking Indian or something. If she's got those measurements, you're pretty much going to be attracted to her. Yeah. So, and there's obviously variety, but these things are very predictable. To be honest, men, we are predictable in that sense. Obviously, for relationships, other things come into it, right? But you've got to have that box ticked on some level. So what men want on a purely physiological level is quite straightforward. What do men want on a psychological level? I think this is an interesting one. Depends on the guy. There's obviously many different guys. One thing men are looking for, if they don't have children, I think, without even knowing it, I think what they're looking for is a woman they actually think could be a decent mother and a decent life partner. But a decent mother. In a sense, that's what the essence of femininity is. That is kind of the essence of femininity. Would she actually be a decent mother? And so that might be the reason you find certain behaviors repulsive. You can't explain why, but you're just like, nah, that's gross. I'm not into that. The girl, she comes back with you. You've been out on a day with her. She drank too much. Or you go, you're seeing she drinks too much, then she goes and she vomits in your toilet. Yeah, I've had that happen twice, and it's like, no, maybe 3 times, and it's just kind of like, okay, you made a fuck up here. That's fine. You made a fuck up here. It's all right. It's no big deal, but it's not pleasant in the moment. And those girls actually that I'm thinking of, they had a lot of. It's almost because they didn't drink. That's why that happened. But if that type of thing was happening on a regular basis, uncontrolled behavior, you're just gonna go nah. Because on some level you're assessing her. Is she gonna be a good mother? Should I keep her around? Would this be a viable mother for my children? This is where intelligence and social skills and the way that she has comes into play, right? So even psychologically, we're coding on in an evolutionary way, right? We're coding on an evolutionary way. It's also why women trying to compete with men, all that type of thing, it's a very bad strategy for them if they actually want to have a guy. It's a really bad strategy because to most men with options, or even men without options, that kind of suggests, like, it doesn't suggest that this woman's going to be a good mom at all. So, but anyway, so that's on the male side. Let's look at women now. I'll just have a quick look through the comments. Devil, but this dude is balding from weak genes. Oh, devil, you're bald. I don't understand. You see, I'll just go into this. The fact I am bald, if you could actually see the damage that I've done since I've been bald in terms of women, I could show you quite a bit of it. These are not threes, my friend. Yeah. It's kind of funny because it's kind of like what that actually shows. I don't know what people are doing on here, but like what that kind of shows is like, yeah, a bald guy's getting hot. A 39-year-old bald guy is getting hotter chicks than you. If you're a single guy fapping off into a sock. Yeah. I just spoke to my girlfriend now. She's 25. She says she doesn't live in this country. I just gone to Macedonia. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Obviously it's banter and stuff, but like I've got a lot more ass since I shaved my head. Like it's not even really close, to be honest with you. So yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna kick some of these retards out. Okay, I don't tolerate retarded people in my chat. I'm just gonna actually just remove. I will remove all of you people. I'm not bothered at all. You're all just strange people. Anything else? I just get them all out. Bye, bye, bye. Yeah, this is like actually these topics are basically for friends. So yeah, I'm not trying to like make friends on the internet. I already have friends, but these topics are for my mates in the entourage. So I'm kind of serious stuff. So these are the so that's the stuff that we code for as men. Now let's just think about what women code for. What from an evolutionary point of view, what is it that women are looking for? From an evolutionary point of view, this is what you're interested in. It's been a long preamble, but if you're a man, if you made it this far, what is it that women are looking for from an evolutionary point of view? I've heard people talk about this quite informally, but I think I'm able to offer a very different insight here because I understand the predictive power of Darwin's theory, to the extent of just a normally well-read person. But I've also, as I said, been in a club. I've been a club promoter, so I've seen this all happening live. I've been involved in it live. I've done daytime cold approach. I've lived a fairly colorful personal life over the years. Nothing completely crazy, but like I'm not obviously a virgin. So I've got the two. I think that I've got the two sides to this. Like one, the theory side, but then also seeing how this actually is playing out in the real world. So if we think about what women are, the human biological female is coding for, right? There's this internet meme of money looks status, right? And it sort of it in a sense goes in something of the right direction, in a sense, because those would be markers of evolutionary fitness to some small to different extents. Let's just go through them one by one. Money. What does money code for? Actually, money is a relatively new element of human society. Stationary, static human society is definitely not more than 10,000 years old, probably more like around 5. I'm not going to go down this. I'm also fascinated in this stuff as well. So I do my free time if I can read about all this shit. But it's 5 to 10,000 years old. The human species is about 300,000 years old. So for more than 99% of our existence as a species, we have not even been static. So we didn't even have there was no civilization to speak of, basically. There was no civilization to speak of. You have basically tribes, bands. I'm not going to go into all of that. That'd be a fascinating other video to talk about. But for most of our time, there was no money. For 99% of human history, there was no money. Okay, we'd have little trades here and there, but it's not something that on a deep level, it's not something actually, for the most part, has a deep evolutionary seed. It doesn't. And it kind of makes sense, right? Like money in of itself, it gives you like a survival kick when you earn money. But in of itself, it doesn't give you that hard dopamine like having sex with a beautiful woman would, or like having a really hard workout would, or guys who fight. I've never been a boxer or anything, but guys who Christians talked about this. He's actually found it almost better than sex, like actually just training, fighting. Yeah, it's evolutionary. It's evolutionary. I've had times where I've had to solve physical problems in my environment of floods or like fucking massive power cuts in like a tropical country and stuff. I've had to handle things in my environment. And I went into a really weird state. I went into a much deeper, more profound state that I'm never in any other time. And it's not meditation, it's not presence, it's something else. It's something from my evolutionary past which kicks in. It's weird. You have to literally be out of civilization where everything's fucked for that to kick in. It's really interesting. So money is not that old. So I would actually put money to one side. And I'd say money is important and it's actually very beneficial, particularly if you want to have a family, and it makes your survival in the modern world much easier. But I wouldn't put a huge amount of emphasis on it. It's just got to be taken care of. If we're talking about just attraction, it needs to be taken care of. And guys in the entourage who've got loads of money have had all sorts of struggles and come to realization what I'm saying now is correct. You know, it's something for you, something for your future family. But actually, in terms of hard attraction, it doesn't mean that much. Looks is actually way more important than money. Looks is way more important than money for attraction. Why? Well, simple reason, it's DNA. Yeah, there's by carrying your DNA into the next generation, by allowing your DNA to inseminate her, yeah, through her vagina, your sperm squirting out of your dick into her vagina and inseminating her eggs and carrying your child in her belly for 9 months into the next generation. Yeah. DNA is important. DNA is important. So having somewhat decent-ish looks actually it actually codes for, you know, good health, good DNA, etc., good genes. Okay. So what does that mean? Does that mean like if you're not Brad Pitt, you don't have a chance? No. If you've made it this far in the genetic, in the barbaric war that human and actually all animal genetics is, if you've got to this point, if you're alive today, your DNA has survived. You are one of the survivors. Like, you haven't had any major defects or anything like that. You've been strong enough for many, many centuries to survive. I'm just the stupid people. I just get these people out. Some of these people are just so stupid. Yeah. Where was that? Yeah. Yeah. So what is it basically on the looks front? On the looks front, yes, DNA matters. Yes, DNA matters. But as I say, if you've made it this far, you're good enough. You're good enough, bruv. You're good enough. So just to emphasize, this talk is for guys. Okay, it's for guys who are looking to improve their chances at having their genetics passed to the next generation. That's basically what I'm here for. That's what I'm here to help people with. If you, it's not. It sounds like arrogant, like, oh, I've already sorted this out. I have sorted this out. Yeah, I've sorted it out years ago, but with cold approach now, I literally feel like I'm bulletproof in this domain. No one's bulletproof, touch wood. It's tempting fate. But like, I can do it in clubs. I can do it in different countries. I can do it in the day. I can do it in the mall. I can do it on the train. I can do it on the bus. I can do this, right? Does that mean does that mean every woman is falling at my feet? Of course fucking not. That's ridiculous. Not at all. Not even close. But can I get a woman if I stay in a country for a month, can I get a girlfriend? Yeah. Yeah, I can. So there you go. And for people who are just like idiots on the chat, I'll just kick you off. I don't give a shit. So I'll continue on. So if you've made it this far, you're good enough. Other things you can also do as well, it really is the basic stuff to show some kind of genetic fitness, like being in relatively good shape, being a moderate weight, yeah, as a minimum. Ideally, just go and put a little bit of muscle on as well, just what you can, yeah, what you can on your frame, if you can, yeah, go and train for a year, see if you can get in a little bit of muscle as well, lose a little bit of fat. There you go. You've already got you look like you've got good genetics because you have, right? You don't need to have Brad Pitt genetics, right? So looks can be definitely a factor, but alone it's not going to be enough. It might just, if for a good-looking guy who's got shit social skills, that might just be enough to get him laid with like sevens. It might, but it's not going to be enough. It's not really going to be enough for like the very hot girls. It's really not. It's really not. So what else codes For fitness, yeah, we talked about money, not really relevant, not too relevant. We talked about looks. Status is another one. Status is a very interesting one because it's it is actually relevant. It's actually relevant. Most guys don't leverage this at all because actually, by definition, most people are just average status. By definition, right? We can't all be the leader of a nation state. But if you do look at like world leaders, big business guys, etc., who do actually have a real level of status in the world, they're always getting hot women, mostly anyway. The Kennedys, Elon Musk. If they've got a decent character to them, it's pretty like there's actually some world leaders with really fit girlfriends, like Carla Bruni. She was with the French president Nicolas Sarkozy. Yeah, those powerful guys, they should do. If they don't, it's kind of strange actually. They should do well. They should do well. If we look at old Mr. Putin, he's got like this really gorgeous Russian figure skater when he divorced his ex-wife. Obviously, yeah, one of the most powerful men in the world. So status is a thing. It is a thing, and it's actually something you can leverage. You can leverage, and it's related to social skills. It's related to social skills. The bar is so low on status. This is one of the easiest ones to leverage, right? I know this because I used to be a club promoter. It's one of the easiest ones to leverage. You don't even need to have a promotion or any shit like that. All you need to do is have a social life, yourself, maybe one or two other guys, where you just create a little scene for 6 months or a year. You will get some status and you'll get a girlfriend out of that. The girls will start to see you as the group of cool guys. And that's just enough, easily, to put you above all the rest of the punters. Yeah. You see these very interesting things, like, for example, when you do spend some time working in nightlife, like bartenders get ass thrown at them left, right, and center. To an extent, you actually couldn't believe it. You would not actually believe it unless you've actually misspent as much time as I have in bars. There's phases of my life where I would be out 4 or 5 nights a week without fail. I wouldn't necessarily be out late on a big one. I'd probably be out on a big one twice a week. And this is for years on end. Yeah. I could just about pull it off because I didn't really drink, if at all. I could barely pull it off. I did. I spent way too much of my time in those spheres. And then including, by the time I was a promoter, I was actually only probably going out 3 times a week. Yeah. So I practically literally lived in clubs. I'm not even joking. Like, we used to joke, like, we should just put a bed in the fire escape because we basically fucking live here. But the extent to which, like, bartenders will get ass thrown at them in some places, in some venues, especially if they're all right looking, it's an actual joke. And they don't do anything. They don't even really approach. They just look at the girl, give her a little shot. There you go. It's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that's something that people don't realize. And then, like, owners and stuff like that, they can get involved as well. Promoters can as well. It's one of the reasons I actually became a promoter, like, full disclosure. One of the reasons I became a promoter, there were 2 reasons. And I would say the first reason was a social reason. I wasn't happy with the nights that were going on in my city. I was fucking bored and I wanted to do my own night. So I did. So as a social thing, it's like people moan, oh, there's nothing going on in the city. Yeah, there's nothing going on because you haven't fucking started anything. So I basically went to a club owner, proposed a night to him, and went to a few different people, got the crowd sorted. And we went from there. And it basically created a personal life for me, created a social life for me for 4 years. It was fucking amazing. But there was another side to it, which was I just want easy. I want a bit more easy mode if possible. I've seen what those guys can do. I always remember there was a guy, he was a mixed race guy with like a blonde kind of afro type hair. And he had a night at a popular club, which is very much a mainstream club. My night was a Latin music night. Became the largest Latin music night in the north of England for about a year. That was my night. This guy had a more mainstream type of event, like it was basically a house event. And I literally used to see him waiting at the door, letting people in for like the VIP and stuff, with the most insanely hot girl on his arm. There's always a new one, but they were like insano chicks, right? And then he's also like, sometimes I'd even see him like carrying like stacks of cash. Like, 'cause I'd observe him because I wouldn't really be drinking. I was like, I want to do what he's doing. As I saw that, I was like, man, you got the keys to the kingdom because you're the guy everyone wants to speak to. Everyone has to go through you, and you give them the status. And the chicks know that, man. They're super sensitive to that. Yeah. And he looked good as well. He looked cool as well. It's interesting when you see these guys like at later dates when they kind of like they faded out of their former glory and they've just kind of gone into like work. I've seen it with bartenders as well. They go and like they work as like a delivery driver or something afterwards. It's like it's quite interesting. They kind of like look a bit of a shell, like they've been broken, because like they've had this glorious, almost like this athlete's career, right? Where they were the cool guy. They got all the chicks. They were the popular guy, and then they go and they work as a fucking delivery driver. You know, they maybe get settled down or whatever, and sometimes they don't even really haven't really even quite fully sussed what they were part of and why they were part of it and why life was the way it was. Yeah. I definitely like I left my promotion at its peak. I left it at its peak and I was like, I'm done. I'm now moving to live an international lifestyle. That so I had something way more exciting to go into and remote work as well. So I've had way more interesting time even since then. But that little bit of status these guys have, status, it's illusionary status. Fucking they kill it off that. They absolutely kill it. So basic things you can do with status, really basic things you can do with status. Just have a few mates, invite girls over for drinks, have a few mates who aren't complete social retards. Invite girls over for drinks, go out, go to places. There you go. You've got status already. So status can be a real one. Yeah, you see it with influencers, you know, influencers that get chicks thrown at them. It's just virtual status. That's all it is. It's just virtual status. So other fitness, however, there are other fitness markers for men. So we discussed physical. Status is a little bit of one. Money is not too relevant, but you want it anyway. The two biggest ones actually for men are psychological and social. Psychological and social. So to bring it back to the apes again, the apes that run things, they're the ones with the social skills. And it's the same in human society. Your social skills are, you know, massively important. Your problem solving skills and your social skills. If you're a good problem solver and you've got good social skills, you can do fine in life. You'll always be able to handle what life throws at you. And yeah, social skills will typically, that's the type of guy that a woman actually wants to have children with will usually be a guy with good social skills. Usually. You can actually just be really sexual and get girls into bed and that type of thing. You can just go down the sexual route. That will work. But if you actually want to be the guy she really wants to be around long term, good social skills, social connections, has friends, it's just all this normal shit. It's very basic. Human female mammals, they're not like so fussy, you know. It's pretty basic a lot of this stuff. But men are so fucking lazy, I think. I don't know. It's just they just can't be bothered to do anything. Just do a few things. That's it. You'll have your loyal girlfriend for life for as long as you want her, right? So social skills are important and psychological as well. And so this is where actually let's talk about psychological first, and then I'm going to relate it to cold approach. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look here. Ghost girl. Is she still on? I'm going to... How is she? I'll just remove her. Okay, get lost. Okay, so Primo. I passed on my genetics and have beautiful daughter, but mother is a psycho by 9 out of 10. Fascinating. So you went on looks. Did you? So you got good genetics, psycho on the looks, but you got bad, basically probably bad genetics or bad socialization. Yeah, that's a bad trade-off. Are you American, Primo? Moving on, hoping to have more children in the future. Good for you. Coast girl. Like American women are just so demented. I don't know how anyone can handle them. I can always tell when it's American women. Oh, bossa. RJ Flores, you're a big fan of bossa nova music. You're in the UK. Okay, fine. Just because a lot of times, I get like sort of people commenting from the US. Yeah, interesting. He's loving the chat. Yeah. I don't mind like banter in the chat, but when people, it's honestly more stupid comments that I dislike, because I know there's like friends of mine and stuff who are watching it, so I just essentially won't tolerate it. So yeah, let's talk about psychological. Let's talk about psychological, and let's talk about social. So psychological, first of all, this is massive. This is massive. Hopefully, if any entourage members are here, there's a few guys who struggled there's a couple of guys I can think of who struggled. Something started, or they were on a date, or they were seeing a girl, and things went down. It's like started off strong and then went downhill. This is where the psychological basic level of fortitude comes in. You don't need to be some stoic Russian mobster. You need to have a psychological base level of fortitude. Psychological base level of fortitude. Okay, so what does that mean? Basically means, first of all, going for what you want and standing by what you want. So if you want to be with a girl and you don't want to be friends with her, yeah, and she only wants to be friends with you, you know what you do? You say, that's cool. I'm attracted to you. I don't want to be friends with you. And then you literally, you escort her from the premises. You say, nice to meet you. Whatever. Or, you get rid of this girl out of your life. Yeah. What will normally happen is they'll actually think about that, and they'll start to, very often anyway. That's basically what you should do. You shouldn't tolerate being friends with a girl. You can convert a girl. This is how you, just as a very brief side point, this is how you convert a girl who you're kind of friends with. There's a bit of a spark, and this happens a lot with younger guys. I've been through this exact thing. I got some advice, and the advice worked. So let me tell you what to do. There's a girl who, you're both attractive, right? But there's something missing. Like, you haven't made a move, and it's gone on so long, it's become weird. You haven't made the move. This is what you do. You start telling that girl about other girls, like, oh, she was so fit. And you start telling her you pulled this other girl. And then even if you're out with her, then you go and pull the other girl in front of her. Yeah. This will start to then trigger her fear of loss. It will start to then elevate you. Oh my God, this is actually a real sexual guy. Yeah. And then at some point you make a move on her. That's how you do it. That's actually how you do it. But that's fucking gold, by the way. I've just given you there. If you didn't know how to do that, that works. It really fucking does. But as a general principle, you go for what you want, like early on, and if the girl's not interested, that's fine. Bye. Goodbye. Yeah. Some weird thing there in the light. So yeah, going for what you want, psychological fortitude. And then when you're actually meeting up with a girl, the girl is not there to be your psychotherapist, Rob. Okay, the girl is not there to be your mother. She is not there to be your psychotherapist. Okay, she is interviewing you biologically. Her biology is interviewing you to see if you would be a viable father for her child. Are you worth her carrying your bastard scion for 9 months, risking her life to have a child, to have your child? Are you worth that? Are you that guy? On some level, that's what's going on. So if you're being a needy bitch, if you're being a overreactive bitch, if you're doing all these things, whatever you're doing, or you see her as a psychotherapist, you want to pour your heart out to her the first time you meet her, or whatever, nope, you're not the candidate. You're not the candidate. You don't deserve to be the candidate. You're not in control of yourself. Okay? You would not be a good father figure. You'd not be a good father figure. She's not going to probably think of it in those terms, but if you apply evolutionary psychology lens to this, which is what I'm doing throughout this whole thing, this is a conclusion you're going to draw. You look at yourself from an evolutionary psychology view and you go, yeah, she probably shouldn't mate with me. She's probably shagged me over. She probably shouldn't procreate with me. I'm not ready for it, or I showed things that weren't the correct thing. So what you want to be? You want to be the dirty daddy. That's what you want to be. In summary, the dirty daddy. And basically, the chicks will fall in love with you if that's what you are, the dirty daddy. Yeah. It just works. It works. It's biology, man. This actually works. And women who would protest this, in some cases, just never experienced it. But when they do, they always fall. I've seen it with even like my own family members, like women and stuff. I'm like, I just watch who they fall for. It's like, yep, I'm not surprised you fell for him. I'm not surprised at all. As other guys, other good candidates on the surface look good, I'm exactly not surprised you fell for this guy. Yeah, it's evolutionary biology, man. Yeah, they're not thinking of it as scientists. That's fine. I actually did once date a Colombian she was a psychologist. She was a PhD psychologist. She was studying in the UK. She said something really funny to me. She was mixed race. She was from Colombia. And she said, it was something like, she said, she just looked at me over dinner and she goes, because her friend had basically said, yeah, he likes Latinas. He likes mixed race Latinas. Her friend, so we're on this date and she looks at me and she goes, your preferences make sense from a biological point of view. Right? So she was aware of evolutionary psychology, and she even knew it in herself as well. So we had a bit of banter on that. I wasn't so into it back then, but since then I've she was a professor of this. She's now a professor of it, so like she's fucking into it. But yeah, she would apply that lens to herself even, So yeah, the dirty daddy on the on the psychological front. And if you find yourself like, or you're just not being assertive enough, like that's a sign of a poor dad. A dad who's going to get walked all over, or he's not going to actually shape their children in the right way. And it's basically fatherhood. If you're struggling with chicks, ask yourself on a very serious note, would I actually be a good father the way I am now? Ask yourself that question. Can I lay down the law in a loving way? Can I give this chick guidance? Or am I a doormat? Or do I not have the courage of my convictions? Am I not fun? I'm speaking very seriously in all of this. I'm actually fucking knackered, but like, this is not actually how I'm talking on a serious topic. This is not how I'm interacting. Like, I was on a call with my girl earlier on. I'm mostly just laughing, like taking the piss out of her and stuff like that, right? So are you able to bring humor into things? Are you fucking having fun? Yeah, I'm talking academically here, but are you having fun? The types of things, are you overreactive? Are you over angry? You don't have to be perfect with anything, but it's just like, are you in the right direction with stuff? Are you in the right direction? That's essentially what women are kind of looking for, like in quote unquote masculinity. They're not actually looking for the meathead guy who goes around headbutting everybody. That's better than the weak guy. And some girls, there's a bit of drama, that type of thing. For the most part, most women look at a guy like that, it's like, it's unstable, he's a bully. I'm not into this at all. They're looking for the dirty daddy. That's what they're looking for. Or maybe like, if they're a bit younger, the sort of saucy guy, whatever. It's a little bit of the age does play into this, but once they get to like some level of maturity, early 20s, 23, 24, sometimes even younger, sometimes 21, the dirty daddy, yeah? And that dirty daddy could be 24 years old. Yeah, on some level, though, that's kind of coding, right? So there's no hard and fast rules here. Society is complex, and human interactions are complex. These are just patterns. Okay. But it's why like 50-year-old men can do super well. I know fucking club owners who are like literally in their 50s, all girls fawning over them. 20-year-olds, dude. Yeah. So that would be the psychological. That's a really important one. If you find yourself getting girls, but you're losing them, ask yourself, would you be a good dad? Objectively. And if not, where are you lacking? And can we start to address that? And can we stop thinking of the woman as she's going to be our mother? That's a terrible evolutionary strategy for her. That's probably going to result in her offspring dying, or not having a good enough father to protect them, because he can't even, he needs a mother. Like it's fucked. It's atrocious. Okay, from her point of view. So she should leave you based on her own biology. She should. Yeah. Some of this codependency and these kind of psychological pathologies, but a normal woman, she should actually leave a guy like that. It'd be completely normal. Just as you should leave a woman who shows clear signs she's going to be a terrible mother, you should definitely leave her, 100%, ruthlessly, because, you know, it's your potential children we're talking about here. So that's the psychological. Yeah, we've talked about social as well. So now I'm going to relate this to daytime cold approach, spoon master. I'm not single, bruv. I'm not single. I'll show you my girlfriend if you want. Let's see if I've got a body pic of my girlfriend so you can throw up. You can say it sounds, it's hilarious what people say on these lives. If you knew where I'd done a cold approach yesterday, dude, I can't even say, because it's potentially a crime. It's not a school or anything like that. It's potentially, anyway. Yeah, anyway. Whatever. Do I have just a body photo? Should I do this? I actually might have one on here. This is actually hilarious. Guys. I can show you throwaway girls that are cold approached. I'll show you this girl that I cold approached and got her contact. Let's have a look. Right, I'm getting rid of this retard. Spoon. Nice to meet you, mate. Get the fuck off my channel, you loser. Fucking loser. No. Anyway, these videos are really for entourage, guys. Wait, how do I get rid of this guy? Remove him. I don't want to kick him out. Hide user. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm not. The reason I don't, I mean, you can look at the rest of my channel. There's quite a few video encounters. There's the Russian influencer. There's the 2 Brazilian girls. There's at least 1 or 2 girls I've been seeing as well. Whatever. I don't need to fucking show my personal life. Yeah, it's a weird one. Yeah. Anyway. What else was I going to say on this? Fitness. Yeah. Fertility and health for women. Social, psychological, and physical for men. And it's all about fitness. It's all about some level of basic genetic fitness. And the interesting point is with this is essentially the old ways that humanity has advocated for hundreds of thousands of years for women, basically, you know, make your decisions while you're young and hot. Yeah, don't wait till you're 45 and think Prince Charming is going to come, because Prince Charming is not looking for a 45-year-old. That's just a brutal fact for women. Evolution is a cold game. Evolution does not give a fuck, okay, about your emotions at all, actually. Ironically, it's why you have emotions, but it doesn't care. Evolution does not care. Yep. And you can't socially change the male eye to be attracted to an extremely infertile woman. Can't be done. Yeah. It's not to say they don't have worth and all this type of thing, but I'm talking biology here. 20-year-old or a 50-year-old. there's not even a competition. It's laughable to think there's a competition from a male point of view, like when we're looking at women. Okay, it's just there's nothing, right? And through all the centuries, this has always been known. Okay, men have always looked for fertility. It's always been known until about X number of years ago, when all of a sudden we're supposed to live in some platonic world, ethereal world of ideals and bullshit. So that for women, it's pretty simple. Make your choice while you're fucking young and hot. Yeah, and you don't have to be super young, but like, let's say before, I think if a woman's got to 35 and it's not happened, good luck. It ain't happening, in my opinion. Good luck. She's going to have to drastically reassess her standards, in my humble opinion, or find a guy who doesn't actually know his value. That's another strategy as well. It's a popular strategy. But yes, they've got to, come on. You've got from like 18 to 30. It's 12 fucking years. You don't have to do anything. You've got guys approaching you. Like, you just got to pick one who's all right. And then on our front as men, it's pretty simple. It's like the stuff people say, stuff your granddad would say, like, you know, look presentable, put a nice white shirt on. Yeah, there you go. There's your social status. Have some friends. Go and have fun. There you go. That's your social status as well. Humor, fun. And, you know, have a backbone. There you go. You're a top 3% man, whatever. There you go. That's literally all you've got to fucking do. You will, and also make the first move. If you do that, you'll find a girlfriend. You will. And if you stick with that and you keep being the guy, she's going to love you. She's going to be so loyal to you. It's fucking easy. It's fucking easy. You know, my girl's loyal to me from a different fucking continent. Yeah. She gets approached every time she leaves the house. We were talking the other day. She was like, I went to the supermarket. I only got approached twice. She's like, yeah, she's like, oh, there was a lot of other fit girls that I only got approached twice. Yeah. Yeah. This is the world I'm rolling in. Yeah. I would never want to be with a girl who didn't get approached a lot. I don't want to be with a girl who's not getting approached. What the fuck? Because it means two things. It means she's either ugly or she can't handle men, or maybe she's from a culture which is very rigid. Yeah, because I like Latinas. They're getting approached. Yeah. Yeah. I've been that girl or my ex-girlfriend. My ex-girlfriend there, she would get approached while I was with her sometimes. I'd have my arm around her. Someone would shout something out of a car. Yeah, routinely. This happened all the time. It's hilarious. Whatever. Good. She's on my arm. I take it as a compliment. Just the final thing for guys to get insecure about other pickup guys in the streets, you know, spamming the streets. I've talked about this and people haven't seemed to listen to me. I don't really know what else I can say on this one. This is Entourage, guys. If you're seriously worried about pickup artists like spamming the streets, you've got low self-esteem. You've got low self-esteem. Because she could be approached by 500 guys. That guy's not you. Their approaches don't mean anything to you. It's your approach that should mean something to you. Yeah. And also, like, the reason I say you've got low self-esteem is because have you seen how shit most of these guys are? If I'm out in like clubs and literal celebrities are approaching girls I'm with, I still don't feel anything, to be honest. I really don't. But I'm kind of like, oh, this is cool, celebrity. I've had that. I've actually had that multiple times. Yeah, if you're in the nightlife scene, celebrities go to clubs. Yeah, if you've got a fit girlfriend, guess what? They're going to approach your girlfriend at some point. It's actually like, it's fucking fine. Yeah, if you go to clubs, is your girl getting approached, or is the girl you're going to approach, has she been approached by other men? Yes. Yes. How many times? Is it more than once? Yes, it might be 20 times that night. And you're worried that 3 pickup artists have come up to her in the street. This is not fucking real. I get it in the street because there's almost something romantic and surprising about it. It's like you've got the extra balls and stuff, but it's a very clear sign of low self-esteem. This is my attitude. Who's that? Brad Pitt, Anthony Joshua. Please, I would love, go and approach her first. Let's just see what happens. I'll approach her after that, or I'll approach first, then you approach us. Let's just see what happens. Doesn't matter. Yeah. So yeah, that's one to work on your sense of self, to understand that you are actually a unique proposition, especially entourage guys, especially the guy who said this. You're a unique proposition, right? This is what you need to drill into your mind. I am a unique proposition. Every other man in Europe could approach her. I'm a unique proposition. Yeah, I'm unique, and I've got serious fucking attributes. Yeah, and also, this is another evolutionary thing. Yeah, this was to you, Richie. This was to you, Richie. It was, yeah. I wasn't trying to like, say anything negative there, but I've just heard you say it a few times. This is one. I mean, it could apply to all. I think a lot of guys think this. I think a lot of guys think this. As you just exemplified it, but a lot of guys think this. There's only one Richie, man. There's only one you, brother. There is only one you. You're a fucking unique guy. That doesn't mean every girl's gonna go for you, but there's gonna be girls out there who you could have half of fucking Manchester approach them, and they would just be like, man, who is this guy approached me? He had a fucking energy about him. This guy, like, he had the eye of the fucking tiger. He's from here, he's from there. Where's this guy from? He was dressed really well. Like, you're gonna make that impression on them. And with the girl who's meant to be your girl, all of the other guys will go out the window. They will fairly quickly. Within maybe not after the first approach. If you're getting with like a hot girl, she's gonna have other guys approach her. There was a girl I got with. I approached her. This was before I met Christian. The last girl I approached before I met Christian. I started seeing her for a little while. I approached her that day, and she just pretty much liked me straight away. My approach wasn't great at all. She was on a bench, and I just was staring at her for like 10 minutes. My approach was shit, but I still went and did the approach. We had a really good long conversation. I set a date, and she was cool. She was an excitable, like, young babe. She was like fucking 21. And then we text back and forth, and she was like, she was kind of like, what's your intentions with me? And I was like, bloody hell, I don't even know yet. We've not even been on a date yet, but we did go on a date. And I think every time I went out with her, there would be guys coming past her, like leering at her, in some cases trying to get her attention while she's actually with me. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. This girl had the largest tits I've actually ever seen. So men's dignity would just go out the window. But this is while I was with her. Yeah, it's just funny. It's like, she's out with me. And if the guy actually came over, then actually I would just have an issue with him. I wouldn't even, at that point, if he actually came over, I actually wouldn't care about the girl at all at that point. Then I would just have a pure issue with him. But they never went that far. Like, it's like, I'm in a coffee shop having a coffee with this girl. This guy's like leering at me. It's fucking hilarious. I'm trying to get her attention and stuff. Yeah, but that was the most extreme one. Actually, she was the most extreme one. I think it's just the size of her tits, and then just went deranged. But I'm kind of like, I was 37 at the time. Yeah, I'm a bald 37-year-old, whatever. I'm not some super rich guy, but I know what I've got. I know what I've got. I know what I bring to the table. I know who I am. And so I don't have to really worry, to be honest. If she goes off with another guy, she's not my girl. She was never my girl anyway. Yeah, low self-esteem occasionally. I think what was it? Jazz's summary of you, which is like, it's like egotistical, but with like sometimes with an inferiority complex. I think that's what's cropping up when you're thinking. Well, to me, that is a sign. It's a sign of like a fear of competition. It's like there is no competition. There's no competition. there is really no competition. You're in a market of one. You're in a market of one. And the other guys who are in for a girl, because there should be other guys in for your girl, they should be quickly irrelevant. They should be quickly irrelevant. Yeah. Yeah. If I make criticisms and stuff like that, I've probably made the same. I mean, what have my problems been in the past? Massively over hesitating in clubs, massively so. I've made so many mistakes over the years. I've been working on this shit for fucking ages, man. Overthinking. Yeah, overthinking in clubs when I was younger. Actually, one of the biggest mistakes I made, was giving time and energy to women who were just dumb. They were just dumb. It's only now I'm older I realized, like, dude, of course you weren't going to get with that girl. She was dumb. She was a dumb chick from Sheffield. Sorry, what am I supposed to say? You know, there's a reason why the girl who likes you is a fucking professor, you know, or whoever she is, you know, or professional. The professors, obviously, that's the extreme end, but like, yeah. So when I was younger, I would give credence to some dumb girl's opinion of me. And it doesn't even make sense, does it? It's like, would you give credence to some guy like who was just a complete dumbass? You wouldn't give credence to what he thought of you. So why would you give credence to what an idiotic girl thinks of you? You wouldn't. So that would be a big mistake I made when I was younger. Giving credence to what some moronic chick makes of me. Anything I'm doing at the moment, Istanbul was hard. I'm not going to fucking lie. I still did about 15 approaches there. Istanbul was fucking hard. But that was an environmental one. Yeah, this is fucking great, SB. This is why I love some of the guys who come to these lives, because they ask fucking great questions. So, hey, man. Yeah, one question regarding this. For instance, how do you deal with younger girls in their 20s if they say you were too old for them? It happened to me and she caught me off guard. Do you reveal your age up front? Yeah, that's actually a fucking great question. I get asked that all the time. Obviously, I'm 39. Well, I can say what I've done. I can say what I think you should do. I've actually I've varied on this. Sometimes I've said to girls I'm like 32. That's a moment of probably a moment of insecurity, maybe on my behalf. I don't know. Yeah, potentially it is. And then sometimes I'll just say I'm 39, or sometimes I'll just say I'm 58. The best response really is just to take the piss and be like I'm 65. That's actually the best thing to do, is go I'm 70. Yeah. I'm looking all right though. You know. I'm actually looking for a younger woman though. It's not the best thing. It's basically a classic shit test, really. I mean, she might actually want to know your age, but the classic response is like, yeah, I'm 90, I'm 98. I'm actually looking for an 18-year-old virgin, a Bosnian Muslim virgin. Humor's the way to go with that. Yeah, I mean, we've got guys in the entourage in their 50s dating 25-year-olds. There's two I can think of who spring to mind, and they're in their 50s dating 25-year-olds. We've got a guy he's just coming up to 50 and he's dating like a 30-year-old. So he's 20 years older than her. I'm 39, my girl's 25. Before that, I was fucking 37 dating a 21-year-old. So it can be done. And if the girl's really opposed to it, you just sack her off. You just don't worry about it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Balthus has got some great suggestions here. I'm a vampire, drink young girls' blood. That's actually the best fucking thing to say. Yeah. How old do you think I am? I do that one. Yeah. We've got some fucking great questions here. So RJ Flores has just said, I get intimidated with English girls of a significantly higher social class than me. I grew up on a council estate in South Wales, London. Even though I've educated myself, that insecurity comes up. You know what's interesting, RJ, is guys who are from that higher social echelon, I went to like uni with some of these guys. I'm basically was just raised kind of middle class. My parents were definitely working class, for sure. Um, but you know, I've known guys from this higher echelons, and you know, like family money and all this type of shit. Those guys are riddled with insecurities, dude. For the exact same reasons you've just said there, almost the inverse. It's like they feel nervous with a normal girl because they're too posh or something, or there's all sorts of things that go on in their minds as well. Um, the class system in the UK is definitely one reason it's quite good to. I find if you're only into white girls, I'd focus on Polish girls. Okay, in most countries, class just means how much money you've got. In England, it was like, have you got a title? Where did your dad go to school? All these things. It's a little bit much. Um, I would personally use that if you really want to. I would actually personally use that as almost a challenge, as like, let me actually use these girls as a way, as a means to actually progressing psychologically. I think we've got a guy in the entourage who had a similar thing. These guys from Pontefract, he's a complete assassin of cold approach, but he's got a weird thing about posh girls. I've been around some posh girls, and it's just like, what ifs? I'm not bothered. I don't care at all. I don't know. They actually don't appeal to me that much. I find them it just doesn't. They don't tend to do that much for me. Um, Primo, I've seen plenty of 50 plus dudes. Also, Richie, I grew a beard now and some new outfits. Yeah. I think for you, Richie, just changing things up is going to be good this year. Just vary it up, mate. I can't vary it up, mate, to be honest with you, because I can't fucking grow any hair. So my variation is occasionally accidentally dyeing my beard purple. That's about as close as it gets for me, or shaving it a bit shorter. But yeah, varying it up is always good. Is always good. I've seen plenty of 50 plus, so primo, I've seen plenty of 50 plus dudes with 19 to 25 when I was living in Czech Republic. Yeah, dude. Same everywhere in the Balkans. Exactly. It's very normal, it's very doable. The stuff I outlined earlier about evolutionary biology, age is not really a limiting factor for men. You can conceive a child at any age. Your fertility does not go down. I know guys, I know guys who've had children in their 60s. One of them is my dad. Not with my mom. He's had two children in his 60s, right? So, yeah, but I know other guys even apart from him, children in their 60s, right? So, you can, yeah, it's not age is not a limiting factor for guys. And some girls, they might want a guy their age, whatever. If it's in their frame of reference, that's fine. But I've been with like English girls and stuff when I was 32. Fucking hell, my girlfriend was 19 when I was 32. The interesting part was it didn't feel weird. Socially, she was like, I mean, their brains socially are fucking advanced. Yeah, ours are slow by comparison. Um, yeah, let's have a quick look here then. So, attraction is biological. Social status doesn't make sense there. Yeah, social status is more just like it's a little window to give you a little in. So, if you're a club promoter or something like that. If you missed the start of the discussion here, I was talking about evolutionary biology, and actually being a leader and being in a position of authority actually does give it actually is an assistance to you. It is an assistance. It is a feature of attraction. You don't have to have it, but it's actually more than most men realize. Yeah, more than most men realize. Um, you need a few other characteristics as well, but yeah, it's why bartenders get laid like crazy. Club owners and stuff like this, especially bartenders, not a high status job, is it? But they get laid like crazy. Even baristas sometimes. Um, so it's kind of like a micro status. It's not like the absolute of like like a barrister. If he doesn't ever meet any hot girls and then he goes to a club and there's a DJ and a promoter there and he's earning 300K a year, whatever he's earning, and they're earning like 20. Guess who's got the status when all the hot girls are around? it's not probably not going to be the barrister. Yeah. This is why they get tables. If you've got money, then you can get a table. Then you buy some status. That's actually quite a good strategy in clubs. It's actually quite a good strategy. So I wouldn't rule out just a little bit of status but it's on a micro level. It's like, you know, you go to a restaurant where you go there regularly and you know the owner's there. There you go. You've actually got a little bit of status there just from that. That's all I'm really talking about. That's all you really need. But especially if you want to have a girlfriend, things like that there is an impact to that. If we're just talking about getting a girl, shagging a girl, you know, if her pussy gets wet, she'll shag you. So if you take her on the dance floor, or you just pull her or something, she gets hot. Yeah, obviously. I used to be insecure about this as well. Jazz suggested the beards. Trying the beard tomorrow. The status story is ultimately about the confidence, charisma that comes with it, not the money itself. Typical male interpretation to think it's about the money. Yeah, I think it's just been sold far too much. The women who are purely after money, you don't really want them. You don't really want them. And guys who lead with money, you are opening yourself. I've seen girls who are quite intellectual get with guys who lead with money. And over time, what happens? The girl follows his lead and she becomes more materialistic. And he basically trains her to be more materialistic. So yeah, interesting vibes. RJ4 is I dated a Norwegian girl about 4 years ago who's from the rich western suburbs of Oslo. Class definitely not a thing in Norway as much as it is here. Yeah, exactly. The UK is a uniquely bizarre society. I don't live in the UK. I dated English girls, some middle class, some working class. Did I ever date an upper class girl? I don't know, one girl maybe. She might have been upper class, I don't know. She was half Indian though, so I don't know if that would even fucking count. She's fucking gorgeous, half Indian girl. But she was high class in India. Trying to think. No, I've always found them a bit repulsive, to be honest. The pony rider type girls. I've been around a lot of them. Flouncy dresses. I used to call them maidens. I was like, I don't want a maiden. I want fucking Penelope Cruz. I want Salma Hayek. This is what I'm in for. Balthus, my dad's 87, he's 35, my mum's 17 when they first met. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, that's a even bigger age gap than that girl I mentioned. It's perfectly normal. It's perfectly normal. For me personally, because of my job, I can't. Going below 18 would not be right. But oh mate, we've got Ian reading up about the Romans and how man's status just went up with age. A lot of this is still more true in more trad societies. Happy New Year. Yeah, is it Is it just trad? That's a good thing you've raised there. Is China trad? It's a communist, man. It's pretty radical, Maoist. And I've had like people I've worked with out in China. They've told me all sorts of like years, like all these Chinese guys, just like 70-year-olds dating like 18-year-olds and shit. Yeah. What I would say on this front is like you do have a biological age as a man. Like this is not an excuse to completely take the piss and be like, I'm gonna wait till I'm 70 to have children. Like, no, because then you are gonna die before your children get to like 15 years old. Yeah. And there is like like there is some kind of a cut-off point. I don't know when that is. I think it's probably in the 60s. But the question is like, you do have a lifespan. Forget biological age, you also have a lifespan as well. So that is something else to take into account. Like yeah, there's a comedian Theo Von said his dad had it when he was 70. And then you do the math and he's like, he obviously died when that guy was young, you know. Yeah, but we have brainwashed people. We have brainwashed people. It's also like as well, I think back to my younger self, early 20s. I actually just found the whole thing very frustrating because I was like studying all this stuff and I was studying all this bullshit. I was like, I felt like at like 20, I was like, I should be working by now. I should be a grown fucking man. Why am I reading all these fucking stupid books? Like it's kind of part of the process, but I find it quite frustrating. And then getting out to work and stuff, that was like a relief in a way. Um, and yeah, I had health problems in my mid 20s, so that kind of stunted my ability to like have a family then. I think in some ways, I wanted to back then, but I kind of was like, had these health issues, and then after that, I was like, man, that was a close call. I just want to enjoy life, to be honest, for a few years. So everyone's story is different. That was my story. Norway is different. Everyone is doing well. Now making my iceberg slim instead of being Mr. High Class boring. Yeah, you can do a bit of both, mate. You can do a bit of both. That high class guy is not going anywhere. But yeah, that's when you get dangerous. That's what James Bond is. James Bond is a bit of both of those. Yeah, that's when you get like a crazy loyalty from girls as well, because there's not too many guys. There are guys who are naturally in touch with these things, but increasingly less so. So if you're naturally in touch with that inner beast, and then you're also Mr. High Class as well. Um, yeah, I don't know if you heard my earlier part, Richie. Well, I basically said guys who, let's say they have a good experience, but then the girl leaves or it doesn't pan out. My argument here, my proposition to guys in this situation was, depending on the girl, but if she's of normal age and normal psychology, let's say 25 to 32, normal psychology, my interpretation is you basically shown very clearly, you egregiously, you would not be a good father for this woman's scion. She should not let herself get inseminated. Okay, and I could apply this to me in certain cases for sure, in different times in life, right? But that's actually how I now interpret it. The gut and you got to ask yourself, would I actually be a good father? That's like aside from the pimp shit, let's get the pimp shit going on. But once you actually start dating, the dirty daddy, that is the archetype a woman is basically biologically, I think, somewhat programmed for. Fun, dirty daddy. Because things like, treating the woman as your psychology. I don't know what happened because I remember there was a case you were quite excited about, then it didn't go anywhere. I don't know what went wrong in that one, but there's other things that like obviously it's going to be a big learning curve for you, mate, because you've got a lot of you're putting in a lot of hours and you've got a lot of catching up to do, but you are fucking doing it at a crazy rate, a fucking insane rate in daytime as well. But that would be a good question to ask yourself. Would you be a good dad at the moment? And if the answer is no, why not? And can we actually address it? The dirty daddy. Ian, situational status is huge, achievable for basically anyone. Yes, exactly. It's pretty basic. Get your mates together, have drinks every couple of weeks, invite some girls over. There you go. And you be the one who organises it. You're the party king. I have a friend who dined out on this and he still dines out on it. And yeah, I think I've shown him in the entourage. The guy is a total monster. Total monster. And even if that's like, I get people coming to cold approach are not that type of person, but use a bit of that magic, in my opinion. Money's for you, not a means to get girls. Yeah, exactly. Spend it on yourself first, yeah. And also for your children in the future as well. Money is great for your children, dude. Yeah, money's like, that's something I think about with children is the financial, um, frankly, burden. That's a limiting factor. It's like, you know, how much I would actually have to decrease. I couldn't be fucking flying every month, obviously, but even beyond that, it's like, I need to decrease my quality of life. Was just at a bar, dry Jan, regular came alone, he was chatting to everyone, staff, just being positive. Yeah, exactly. And if he goes back there every couple of weeks, every week, For a year, you'll get a girlfriend. Animalistically, you guys shouldn't care. Rico retracted a message. Primo, can I ask a question I need some views on? My status isn't the same as it used to be. After having a child and settling down for a few years, I spent 5 years dedicating all my time to my kid. This is what we're on for. This is what I'm from for. Yeah, we'll definitely go into this. I'm going to fucking put a cup of tea on. My status isn't what it used to be. I'll just make sure I'm reading this really properly. My status isn't the same as it used to be after having a child and settling down for a few years. I've spent 5+ years dedicating all my time to my kid. Okay, so couple of things. First of all, congratulations on being a dad. That's fucking awesome. Secondly, congratulations on being an attentive dad. That's also fucking awesome. It's hard to get much detail there. When you say dedicating all my time to my child, there's a slight little red flag that goes up there in my mind. There's a little red flag creeping up there. Dedicating all your time to your child. By that, do you mean you were, as well as working, presumably, doing your ex's job for her? What was going on there? You still should have, especially after the first couple of years, there should be some time for you to continue to lead an individual man's life. So that will be something, I don't know, I'll scroll down in a moment. That will be something, it's like, that might have been a bad step. You also mentioned earlier on that the girl had some mental issues. There was a major issue with the woman. Okay, but anyway, that's all in the past now. What can we actually do going forward? You can't change any of that going forward. You can ask yourself though, is there something objectively I could do differently this time? Yeah, actually you should do that. Could I have selected better? Could I have selected the woman better? After, let's say, the first couple of years, the child being a newborn and so on, could I have then insisted, I'm going to still integrate some of my personal life back. I'm going to go out 2 Fridays a month and play snooker with my mates. I'm going to keep hitting the gym. Yeah, obviously I have this new responsibility. Or did you completely get kind of steamrolled by this situation? Yeah, in terms of status as well, are you talking about money there? Are you concerned you've like lost earning power? Have you got out of shape? Have you started to dress like shit? What is different now, Primo, that a few years ago was going well, or was before you had the child? What's different now? Are you drained? Are you tired? Are you fatigued? You know, it's a lot of fucking effort, especially if you've had a relationship that's gone south as well. Yeah, so I'm actually really interested to dig into this, so if you want to make any further comments, do. Maidens, damsels. It's mad to think, I love how we've got onto Rome. I actually love this. This is tremendous. It's mad to think that the average age of the Roman system was about 28. We're definitely meant to breed earlier from purely biological standpoint. Yeah, as I said, I felt that like about 20. I'm like, I'm ready to fucking go. I'm ready to go. Even now, it's kind of like I was ready to go at 28. It was just literally finances, you know? You have to feed these things, yeah? And in the modern world, like, if you don't have if you don't have some kind of a stack, what kind of life do you want to be living? Like the life of a serf? Like, no thanks, you know? I want my son to be a fucking Roman noble, yeah? Or my daughter. It's irresponsible to have kids in your late age, even if you don't have kids, you may not actually want one anyway, perhaps. Yeah, that's a great point. Exactly. Well, you took to 60 to realize you wanted to have children. Like, yeah, there's wanting them, and then there's knowing if it's practical to have them. Like, yeah, I definitely do, but like, my honest question is like, I've just said that I don't want my children to be fucking serfs. I want them to be solid. Starting fresh now, 35. Okay, primo. Starting fresh now, 35, but more of a loner than I used to be. I've always done well with women, and just now I don't have the same big social circle. How do I compensate for that? Right, right. Now we are getting into things. Now we are getting into things. Yeah. Okay. So I went through this similar thing. Not what you've been through. I had this of shit. I'm 30. My mates have left the UK. My mates are still in the UK. They've all settled down. The fuck do I do? I went down the interests route. What am I interested in? Okay. I've called it in a different video a hyper niche. Okay. That's a very nerdy way of looking at things because people on YouTube seem to like these types of ideas. But what are your niches? What are your niches? Do you have a niche? You know, is it just drinking? Do you like the gym? Do you like to go for walks? Do you have other interests? That's step one. Step two, are there any girls that go to these same interests? Because if you just like walking the country alone, well, you're gonna have to find a girl who. I mean, you're not gonna find anyone out there. Probably, countryside, the Dales cold approach could be fucking sparse, right? So those are two angles. Yeah, but you've got a lot of angles. You've got a lot of angles. Those are two angles. So actually finding someone who has compatible interests with you is really, I think, is crucial to having some type of decent stability and decent sexuality in a relationship, you know, having those mutual interests. So getting back in touch with those, that's even a separate thing to your approaching women. Just get back in touch with things you used to be interested in, you used to do before you had your child in your disastrous relationship. Yeah, I went heavy down a dance route. Got really into dance, and then really got into it's like part of salsa and stuff like kizomba. So there's loads of girls there, and then eventually set up my own club promotion, and that was basically because I'm like, there's no scene. I'm going to create the scene. That's quite an extreme way to go. You could take it that far. You don't obviously need to. Do your best in terms of like engaging with new people. Yeah, do your best on that front. Build your social life up again slowly. It's going to be a process. You've got to be proactive. No one's going to do it for you at 35. You've got to do it. You've got to be proactive. Yeah. And even if you just got one wingman who's like still up for doing stuff, yeah, you can still ring up the old mates if you want to go for play snooker, that type of thing. So it's just having a healthy social ecosystem. Yeah, build that back up again. Build that back up again. Revolving around your hobbies and interests. And then beyond that, we're talking about the girls, talking about the ladies. Welcome to the world of cold approach, my friend. Welcome to our world. Okay, this is what we do. This is what we are here for. Just watch like any of my videos. Watch any, just whatever. There's. I talk about cold approach loads. I think I just did one on cold approach Istanbul. But yeah, you could actually, if you can build up something of a social ecosystem and build yourself back up again, I'd prioritize that first. Then a few months down the line, then let's start on the daytime cold approach. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. But like, yeah, I think actually like you just by the way you talked and stuff here, I think you'd actually be fucking. I think you'd be solid at it, mate. If you've had success in the past, you've already had a family and stuff, you're looking to get back in the game, you're the right age. Primo, mate, you could be fucking dangerous. Joseph's never too late. You're in your prime. Thank you, mate. Cheers. James Bond in public, iceberg slim in private. There we go. Yeah, at the moment, no, I'm still simping. I love all the vocab. Where did simp actually come from? RJ Flores. Okay, so I've got a 7-year-old son from a previous relationship. My ex split up with me after a year after he was born, so it's difficult coming out of a long-term relationship and getting out there dating. Yeah, I would agree. It's hard if you don't have a child. Yeah, I definitely agree. And even if you do get back out there, I've had times where I get back out there and I'm like, I'm still burning inside. I'm still like, I'm still burning at the stake inside for the previous girl. That's happened to me twice. 2 girls I've been in love with. There's 2 girls I've thought
I was all in basically. Like I could actually spend my life with this girl, and then for different reasons, totally different reasons, those relationships ended. And I did get with someone afterwards, like within the first, I don't know, couple of months or something. I was like, yeah, dude, I'm burning at the stake anyway. Even if you do get into something else, like you console yourself, it's going to be painful anyway. Never mind fucking having children. Every now and again I get death anxiety, but the Epicurean quote says the fear of death is being negative. That's really interesting, RJ. I'm going to recommend something to you, which guys, quite a few guys in the entourage, well, myself and two other guys in the entourage have employed. It's a technique called the lightning process. Go and check out Phil Parker. Very good tool, really good tool. If you're wanting to adjust your way of thinking, if you're wanting to adjust your, get yourself into a positive frame of mind more easily, to get more control over the kind of frame of mind you're in, it's a great tool. It's like, usually if I'm having issues, I usually think to myself, fuck, why didn't I just use the lightning process on this? It's really crazily good tool. So primo, all great points, but yeah, I think RJ, I'd like you to expand on that, because if you've got a moment, yeah, to expand on that, that would be interesting. Death anxiety. Do you mean you're afraid of death? Could you expand on that? You're afraid of like your time ending on this mortal coil. Primo, all great points. I'm actually the same guy as before. Looks are all sorted. Never even had to search or try hard before. Yeah. I mean, if things are this solid, mate, like, yeah, you'll cruise through cold approach in 3 months. In a month, you'll have a girlfriend. Exactly what I needed to hear, just to get back to my usual stuff and start building that circle again. Yeah, exactly. Cold approach time. Yeah, I would actually, in your case, this is these questions. This is a fucking awesome life. So there's something. I'm gonna do a diagram here. I'll do a little diagram. This is something I've thought about with approach, and like, where are you when you start your approach? So the guys I think who've done pretty well pretty quickly with approach, and actually just like who find it relatively straightforward, they're already at a really good starting point by the time they get into the approach. Adam, my brother, please tell me you're trolling me. Let me just, and I'm going to show this on a diagram, right? Humor me on this one, right? This is where, okay, let's call it the girlfriend experience. Okay, I'll put the E in brackets. Okay. Okay. So primo, right? This is like, if Ian, if you're on, or Richie, if you're on, you're gonna love this diagram, right? Let's have a quick look at this diagram here. Wait, can I actually switch the camera around? That might be possible to do. Hold on. No, I don't think I can. Wait, no, maybe I can. Is that gonna work? Yeah, we can do it here. Okay, remove the cocaine. Okay, here we go. Here's a diagram, right? Allow me to explain this diagram. Okay. Up here is our girlfriend or girlfriend experience. This is what we are looking to attain, right? We're looking to be there. The girlfriend or the girlfriend experience, we're probably not fussy really which of those it's going to be, especially if we're starting off. We'll take either, or maybe one or the other, but that's the direction we want to be in. Here, this is 0. This is baseline 0. Baseline, you're just standard going along, living life. Okay, nothing special. You've got an all right little life. You know, you're healthy. Maybe you do a bit in the gym. You've got a few mates. Your baseline 0. Down here, this is actually where a lot of guys are starting off cold approach from. They're actually starting from way below, way down, way below a baseline. They're not even a baseline, right? And they're wanting, because they want a girlfriend, it's natural, it's biological, they're wanting to go from here right up there through cold approach, right? You're down at a fucking -10, yeah? We're -10 down here, right? This is for all the autists in the house, right? We're -10. And you want to go from there to fucking there, yeah? This is actually what some guys are doing. They're firing themselves right up there from like their basements and their rooms and the pits of despair. They're firing themselves up there, right? And actually, they might actually get the girl. They actually might make this heroic leap up there. They might. Yeah, and they can. The problem is, though, this whole fucking thread here is so brittle, it can just be snapped at any point, right? You're hanging by a thread on this. You're like fucking Spider-Man, right? You shot the web all the way up there, you're hanging like a fucking thread. Your baseline is way, way, way too low. This whole thing is too brittle, and even if you get up, your likelihood is you're going to fall back down again. Or you might fall a bit less, but, you know, you're not where you want to be. You need to get yourself at a minimum to a baseline. That's minimum, right? A baseline means healthy, well, got a few mates, nice little life that they enjoy, decent, all right work, some kind of thing going on, all right relationships. That's a baseline. What you want to do actually is build yourself up to this point here. Build your castle up to this point here, right? This is Manosphere legendary shit right here. We're actually building ourselves up, right? So we're up here. We're now approaching from up here, right? We've got great physical health. We've got maybe one or two great hobbies. We don't have too many hobbies. Can they be completely fucking space cadet going in 100,000 directions? That I can sometimes be guilty of that. We've got at least some hobbies. We've got things we're looking forward to. We've got travel missions. We've got exciting projects. We might have our own business. We've got just a good fucking life overall, right? We've got a great life overall. We are now approaching from up here. And actually, as you'll see here, your life is actually even a little bit, maybe even above the girlfriend level. Like, it's even a bit above the girlfriend experience. It's like, yeah, my overall life is actually better. Yeah, it's actually better than even having this girl would be. Or you want to be around here or something where it's like, okay, maybe that would add a lot to my life. Well, actually, you can actually find you go up so fucking, your life gets so good. You're almost like, I don't even fucking care about, the girl's just going to slow me down at this point. But guess what? If you're in this type of area up here, right, you're approaching from the right place. Oh, the girlfriend left me. Okay, I'm going to be sad. It's going to break me in half. I'm not going to just, my whole life isn't going to fall back down here. Okay, so we build up our castle. This is the worst drawn castle of all time. I'm actually fucking loving this. Adam, you fucking bomb. Yeah. So this is basically where we want to be approaching from. Let's. There we go. There's my diagram of hope. What did people think about this? I don't know if that makes any sense. I was actually thinking this. I thought of that diagram like at some point. I can't remember when it was. Maybe it was when I was going out meeting cold approaching for where were they from? Tunisian girls in Istanbul. Oh mate, that diagram. I'm actually gonna do a whole video on that diagram. Let me just get rid of this. Adam, bruv, this place ain't for you, bruv. Wait, let's get rid of him. Get the fuck off my channel. Yeah, I just kick these people out, dude. Richie, it's not linear. Yeah, you can have it exactly. Yeah, this is another point about that. Obviously, I've just drawn a fucking diagram. Yeah, that was a ridiculous diagram, but I do think there's something to it. I really do. Like, for example, the guys I saw in Manchester cold approaching and the guys I saw in Belgrade, it's like, bro, you're at -10. I can see by looking at you, you're at -10, dude. You need to get up to 0 baseline. Then go and approach from there. You can approach from there. Then try and get yourself up to +20. Then you're sorted. Yeah. And then you can get these like moments where you're like at a +200, and then you go and approach, and it's just like, I don't even absolutely give a fucking monkeys what happens. And obviously that's when you get the baddies. Yeah. You imagine you're out with all of your mates from the entourage. You're out with your best mates ever in your whole life. Maybe even like a couple of family members who you really like if you get on with your family. Right? Imagine you've just, I don't know, you've won an award in your industry, right? And you've just realized you've had you've just literally got like $1 million bonus or something, right? Right. And then you just go around and we're surrounded by models, right? Imagine that's actually a possible scenario that could happen. Imagine approaching then. Imagine you approaching you like 10th model of the night or something, and you've already banged one of them, right? You just see another one who's like almost as fit. You'd be approaching from like castle level 500, right? On all levels, like social, all these different levels. Your feel good factor is going to be completely off the chain. That like you're kind of approaching from up there on the turrets, basically. Start crowdfunding for a whiteboard, right? Yeah. Purging the infidels. Yeah, I do. It's the thing is, right? This is just my channel. We are not talking about freedom of speech on here. Like, you can say anything you want, obviously. It's fucking free world. But when people come in and start saying cold approach doesn't work, whatever, just saying I don't have a girlfriend or something, it's like, okay, mate, get off my channel. It's, yeah. Social skills it is. Yeah, that the fact I did this diagram is just fucking glorious. Social skills, yeah. Yeah. I mean, one thing that's been big for me, just relating to social skills, is you can have all the fucking social skills you want. If you're out solo, you're out fucking solo. Yeah. I found solo in Istanbul fucking solid, bruv. Absolutely fucking solid. That was one of the hardest 3 days of approach I've ever. I was doing it to report back. And there's even some shit I'll only report in the entourage meeting on Sunday. I can't even report it even on a live. But I did have some successes. But horrible, the whole thing felt horrible. Horrible from start to finish. There was the easiest approach was actually the 4 set, the 5 set, including the mum. That was the easiest approach of Tunisian girls. But yeah, the fact of being out in a group, I think it's something we are, remember Manchester, right? How easy that was. I mean, I was approaching out there, it was fucking fun. And even before meeting you guys, just the fact I knew I was doing stuff, like, it made it a lot more fun. So having a constant ecosystem of socializing is really important. And I think that's a big factor for guys as we get into our 30s and 40s and 50s. It's like, where the fuck do you create that from? It's easy when you're 21. You got uni mates and all this type of shit, football mates. As you get older, you have to really put the effort in to do that. Which I actually did that in my 30s. I doubled down on it in my 30s, essentially because of having a near-death experience twice in my 20s. That's why my life went the way it did. But yeah, being out in groups is the way. It's the way. Thankfully, now I'm back in Macedonia. I'm fucking back in Christian land, so I am back. Like, I'm with my group, basically. I'm with the Bible dudes. PUA is usually socially awkward. Yeah, I mean, the guys out there in Manchester were fucking abysmal. They were abysmal. I felt quite sorry for them because I'm like, you guys are good. You guys are just, you've got no chance. You're doing the hardest thing there is in the world to pick up. You would be better off doing a looks maxed fake fucking Instagram phishing account, or just starting going to clubs and getting drunk. You'd probably be better off doing that. This guy has a channel for GCSE kids. He's a wrong'un. Yeah, I do actually have a channel for GCSE kids. How the fuck do you know that? Yeah, it's a very different channel, which doesn't have any views particularly. Did you use AI to find that? But yeah, I don't obviously talk about cold approach, and I'm not obviously a paedophile actually, which is what I think you're instigating there. I don't know. I'll get rid of this guy. RJ Flores, would you like to travel to other parts of Turkey? Had a feeling that women in Eastern Turkey near the Syrian border even more beautiful. Middle Eastern women are very beautiful. Yeah, I would agree. I'd agree. The women are very attractive. The women are definitely attractive. They're quite sensual and sultry, especially the way they look at you. Like they really fucking look at you. I mean, there's how attractive looking the women are, and there's how approachable they are given the situation. I mean, in every place I've been, I've made very bad mistakes because when you go to places, you don't know the cities that well, and you just do what you're trying to do. And it's only really often after you leave, you realize, fuck, I made some mistakes there. But you just do what you can do. Istanbul, I found it, and I found it very poor for approach, to be honest. Not because there's loads of girls and you can approach. Fucking atmosphere for solo approach, like New Year's Eve, dude. You'll see it on a video if you watch. There's a recent video I did. It's the most police and military I've seen, like in a civilian place ever. Yeah, because obviously there was a terror attack there a couple of years ago. The country's now at war. So it's like, I mean, I'm getting padded down just to go down the street. I got stopped from filming at one point. There was a real fucking atmosphere there on New Year's Eve. So you're thinking it's going to be great for approach, full streets. No, man, it's fucking horrific. It was so tense and weird. And then the tourist areas, you've got like, you get interrupted sometimes by Turkish guys just trying to muscle in on just some bullshit. I don't know. The Islamic overlay there, it adds an extra fucking 10 layers of complication to everything. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't bother with Turkey for approach. I'd love to go back with my girlfriend, or I'd love to go back just to do like an archaeological fucking mission. Go and see Noah's Ark, which apparently you can see. There's loads of stuff in Turkey to see. If I actually went back, I probably wouldn't even do a single approach, to be honest. I purely did them this time round. What I could muster was purely just as an experiment to push the frontier. Yeah, I'll be out tomorrow, Richie. Yeah, I'll be out, dude. Yeah, it's my job. I'm in Macedonia, dude. That's what I'm here for. No, I'm not here to approach, but I said to Christian, I messaged him and I was like, I'll probably take the weekend off. Will I fuck? Will I absolute fuck? I'll definitely be out, man. Just see what it's like. What's that like to go from a Muslim country to an ortho country? And then I already feel more chilled anyway. Like, it's so fucking nice. What was it about those guys in Manchester that made you think they didn't have any hope? To be honest, when I first started Cold Approach, I had those thoughts that my value was too low. Thankfully, it wasn't. I still think there are issues with the PKK, the Kurdish separatists. Yeah, I mean, some of those issues, to be honest, RJ, some of them are also in my head. Some of them are definitely real, though. Like, you'll see it on the video. Like, I started, like, it was one of the tourist sites. I was like, just the start of the video, there's these guys going past chanting Allah Akbar, with a fucking Pakistan flag. It's off-putting, dude. It's off-putting, like, I did manage to get over it by about the third or fourth day, but like, yeah. I didn't feel my mojo was great there for approach, to be honest. But I still just like, I'll just do shit approaches, whatever. I still managed to get like one really solid still managed to get one really solid result. Yeah, the Kurdish separatists, yeah. I mean, I don't the politics is fucking, to say Turkey is a complex country is a wild understatement. It's a fucking dementedly complex country. Like, that's one of the attractions of going there is fuck me, dude. The complexity of that country is. I can't think of a more complex country, to be honest. It's fucking. It's complex in 1,000 different ways. Yeah. Are the Macedonian girls like Greek girls? No, not at all. Modern Macedonian girls are Slavic, tall, very rangy, slim, athletic, moody looking. I fucking love Macedonia. I got back tonight. I feel fucking amazing. I'm so happy I'm here. I'm so fucking happy I'm here. I'm definitely like, I'll probably stay here for a couple of months, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe it might get a bit. The only thing is it can get a bit boring, so maybe I'll go somewhere else. But it's fucking awesome. What a place. It's just like peaceful, serene. You see massive crosses everywhere, like gigantic, luminous crosses on the mountainside. I'm just like, yeah, man. I'm in God's kingdom, man. It's reassuring. Sorry, I just scratched my face there. Now, Greek girls are obviously more Mediterranean by and large. Yeah, some of those Greek girls are. The Greek girls are, I think, some of the most underrated in the world. Greek girls are actually legitimately some of the fittest in the world. Like they're actually a fucking joke. They might be the fittest, you know. Like if you actually did like biological, phrenological measurements and shit like that, they might be the fittest. Ridiculously hot, and there's even some blondes out there as well. Insano. You can tell they're the result of fucking selective breeding, man. Should have gone to a Fenerbahce game. Oh yeah, mate. The football, even just watching it on TV, everything in Turkey is just fucking mental, dude. Absolutely fucking mental. Everything in Turkey is just nuts. Completely fucking nuts. Oh, the shit that I fucking saw out there. Was she Greek, Ian? Yeah. Yeah. Mate, I do remember that. I do remember that. That's why I couldn't believe you were saying you couldn't approach. I was like, because I was at the beginning of approach, right? I'd worked with Christian maybe a few weeks before. I'd never done a session before. I never approached in the daytime with other guys before. I had done some approach before, kind of organically for the previous year or so. But I saw you, I was like, man, bro, this guy's a fucking operator. He went into a supermarket. I've literally never seen that other than in fucking plastic bag Romeos in Latin America. You should remember these things, mate. You should actually remember, like, you've got very good social skills, mate. You think you haven't, but you have. And when you did that, I was just like, man, what a fucking animal. You just disappeared out of Starbucks to go into a supermarket. Bro, I didn't get into supermarkets until I was like a year into approach. And I had to specifically go to supermarkets to get myself going in them. I mean, I remember that weekend actually just meeting you and then meeting some of those other guys when I went over to Manchester separate to Christian. The difference it makes having a friend with you, it's like fucking night and day. Even if it's just one friend, it makes such a big fucking difference. Yeah. I would actually recommend Istanbul for a trip. And if you've got a mate there, you've got an in, could be good for approach as well. If I were to go back and I wanted to approach, I'd go and I'd like live there for 6 months and in like a chilled area away from the tourists and just chat to local girls, keep it low key. I don't think I'd necessarily go in on the full "you look gorgeous today." I don't think I would, to be honest, because of the cultural thing. It's hard for them to handle that. Anyone tried Italian? Christian has done an approach, I think, out there, Milan. I think it looked pretty good. Yeah, Paris never seems to be mentioned in conjunction with cold approach. That's actually a really good point. I think the reason is Paris is just disgustingly expensive. I think that's the main reason. It's the main reason. It's where you go when you've got a girlfriend, when you're going to go and propose to her. You know, you're going to go out and do some cold approach. You want to go somewhere relatively affordable. Um,
Yeah. How did you do any approach in Paris, Richie? No, it's not expensive. Interesting. Fair enough. Whereabouts do you stay? Mm. Yeah, it's interesting how these things are. Back when I was, yeah, fucking hell. Last time I was living in France, a long time ago, to be fair, it's like 10 years, but yeah. To be fair, Richie, I wonder what your view of expensive is, to be fair. Some myself. I can't. I lived in a place called Marca des Poissonnières, which is, it's like, I think it's like the eighth arrondissement, something like that. It's a weird thing which is quite central, but it's basically where the African and basically like Indian lot live. And it's relatively central. I fucking live there on the top floor of this fucking absolute shithole. I lived there for about 6 weeks. And it was the most Parisian shit of all time. I literally just, I went to like visit all of the fucking museums, like literally almost all of them. I went to Eugene Delacroix's house. I went to Victor Hugo's house. Um, all these fucking places. I was such a fucking nerd. I smoked cigarillos on the roof of this fucking. I was literally on the top floor, on the roof of this shitty fucking place. Like so high up, like overlooking the fucking city. Drank tea and smoked cigarillos there. I fucking went all in for that 6 weeks, dude. On that, um, yeah, read every fucking day. Wrote poetry as well, mate. It was fucking hilarious. That was my 6 weeks in Paris, and that was a long time ago, to be fair. Um, okay, so Paris is huge, 12 million. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean, French girls are good, mate. I'm into the black, French girls, the African French girls. They're fucking tremendous, to be honest. Um, Caribbean ones, they're cool. They're nice girls. Good wifeys, the Frenchies. Yeah, good wifeys. The French are pretty. The French are pretty slick. The French guys are pretty slick. I like to be around that. I like guys who I want to feel like there's operators around. I've had a French guy in Nice fucking steal my date and take her off as shagger. It's about 10 years ago, 11 years ago. I did have a girlfriend, to be fair. I shouldn't have been on a date. You just travel around, primo. So I'm a digital nomad. So at the moment, yeah, I'm traveling around a lot. That was actually when I was what was I doing out there? I was just traveling then as well. Yeah, I was just traveling then as well. I spent 3 months in France, like a language thing. So learning the language out there. But that's ages ago. I mean, I was like early 20s then, like learning the language and shit. And I just was like such a fucking. I mean, I just went so all in on that. It was fucking hilarious. It was an absolute fucking dump. But that's the reason I lived in such a shithole was because it was expensive at the time. It actually was really expensive at the time. Um, I also lived in where was it? The vagrant lifestyle. Where was it? Massif Central, where they make Evian water. Or no, Volvic water. Sorry. Even the fat French girls were hot. You love Richie. You know you love fat chicks, mate. You know you do. You know it's your guilty desire. I'm the same. I'm the same. There's the filth of the fat chick. You know it. You know it does it for you. The 16th is beautiful. I don't know how that'll be for a non-francophone. A lot of them speak English, mate. You just try. You just find one who speaks English. You know. Marseille was rough. Better nightlife than Paris. Dodgy as fuck. Yeah, I've heard that about Marseille. So I have an ex-girlfriend. She used to sometimes go out. Like, she went out a couple of times with her cousin because it was like cheap and nice beaches and stuff. But they said, yeah, it was like just getting hassled by Arab guys and shit. It's weird. Yeah. I used to live down in a place called Beausoleil, which is just on the outskirts of Monaco. And I've lived there twice, once when I was 24, once when I was 28. And that 4 year span, I don't know what it's like now, that 4 year span, it went from being like this nice little French town to like Algeria in 4 years. And it got a lot more intimidating, like open drug dealing and crime in the street and stuff. It was really weird because I'm from Sheffield, like the guys are actually physically hard. The guys who are like criminals and stuff in the north of England are actually genuinely hard. Like if they headbutted a window, do you know what I mean? They just go and have a pint and a cigarette and that's it, you know. Like smash a window in and then just whatever. They're actually physically hard dudes. What I found really weird in the south of France was all these skinny Algerian guys who are like extremely aggressive, but it's like, mate, objectively, like, unless you're like trained in MMA, which I can see you're not because you're a fucking delinquent, like, how do you actually think you're imposing and intimidating to people, but they actually do? And because no one does anything, they kind of don't get any pushback. It's fucking weird, to be honest with you. We need like the French crims to go down there and just batter their heads in a little bit. I don't know what's happened to the good old French criminals. I don't know. But Beausoleil wasn't a crime town either. It's just pretty horrible what's happened down there, to be honest. Yeah, I think France is on there's a good chance. Well, it's just on a steady decline, but if we weren't at this level of society we're at, France could fucking explode like almost no other country. And I personally think if France can negotiate the 21st century successfully, if it can, fuck knows how it's gonna, but if it can, everyone else in Western Europe is gonna have to copy what they've done because they're in some serious fucking shit in France. Yeah, Monaco's safe, exactly. Every French city, yeah. So you spent a bit of time in France, huh? That's fucking cool. That's really cool. The Granny's case. Yeah, I've not read about the Granny's case. I'm assuming it's some assault thing, and I'm just totally disconnected from the Western press. I just don't give a shit. I'm never. I understand. I know you love the West, Richie, and I love what the West used to be. I literally love it. But it's fucking. I don't know if it's dead or not. I don't know. It's weird, man. Shit's got weird. I love the accent, architecture, history. It's such a great country. It's a fucking amazing country, dude. It's an amazing country. France is a fucking amazing country. Everything you've just said there, accent, architecture, history, culture, food, dude. The food. I remember I used to live with some Italians, and they were like seriously like, oh, you know, which is better, like Italian food. Italian's better than French, isn't it? And I was like, guys, I mean, it's not even close. It's not even fucking close, bro. It's not even close. Italian food is like very high caliber peasant food, effectively. That as harsh as that sounds, it's like the best peasant food in the world. It's fucking amazing. Yeah. French food is just like, you know, Louis the fucking 15th. Like, it's just this noble, ridiculously indulgent, high class shit that just everyone eats. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, I love French. I love the French. They're some of the greatest explorers on earth. I guarantee I'll go out around Skopje tomorrow. I guarantee there'll be some fucking French mountaineers walking around or some shit. They get everywhere. Those fucks get everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere I go where I think I'm going to be Mr. Unique, no, some fucking French there. Every fucking time, dude. Every single city. Every Sarajevo, fucking Belgrade. Oh, Istanbul's obviously swarming with them, obviously. I mean, I didn't think I was going to be unique there, to be fair. Right. That is probably the longest live I've ever done. I've got work tomorrow. It's Saturday morning, but I do have work tomorrow, so I'm going to wind it in.
I can't believe I've had so much caffeine today. That's what's kept me going, and that's what inspired that fucking. That's what inspired that drawing there. My plan for actually the rest of this year, a lot of the concepts that I'm discussing in these videos, I'm gonna talk about them in longer videos, trying to figure out what people actually find useful. I'm trying to make myself useful this year on this channel. Is it not enough ranting on? So that's why I've been trying to take people's questions quite seriously. We're just trying to make it as useful as possible. That's why I did fucking Cold Approach in Istanbul. It was not for fun at all. It was to like, okay, what's it actually like to go and do fucking a session solo in Turkey with a moderate skill set? And again, what it really taught me was the skills are kind of, they're only one aspect of it. Like the place needs to be amenable, the girls need to be amenable. Ideally, you want to be with someone else. Ideally, okay, but if you're not, you're not. Your emotional state is going to be all important as well. Yeah. So yeah, I hope that has been useful, entertaining, kept people entertained on a Friday night. I'll be out in Skopje tomorrow, hopefully. Just cruising, seeing this beautiful city again. What a place. And yeah, best of luck, boys. Anyone who's approaching this weekend, I know, Richie, you will be the fucking approach demon. Yeah, Cold Approach Kabul. I've actually thought about that. I've actually asked myself, where would be the hardest place on earth? Kabul's got to be up there. Yeah, that's just a suicide mission. That's a straight up suicide mission. You will literally get killed. You could have, the only girls you could approach would be foreign girls. Yeah. There's stuff I can't obviously share on this channel because it's public. But there's stuff on the in the entourage. There's some of this stuff I'll be sharing more in-depth thoughts on some of these things. SB, the drawing was actually on point. Something similar was in Owen's blueprint. Really? Did you get that program? It's interesting because Owen Cook is like, he's got a very mixed kind of rep, but I actually think I think that their company was fucking, it was a mental company, man. Like their production, the effort they went to, yeah, I don't know. I think they definitely inspired guys to like, they definitely inspired guys for sure. I don't know if I necessarily think all of the advice was like that good, but they definitely inspired guys, and they're quite holistic as well. Yeah, they're a big company. I have heard, to be honest, from I think a few different informed sources, 'cause I looked into it a little bit. I have heard there was a fair amount of fraudulence going on there, which was undisclosed. Which like I actually don't have a problem for Cold Approach channels using actresses. And the reason I don't is because like I've just gone and done some sessions in solo in Istanbul, and I'm thinking, wow, if I had a guy filming me here, this would be fucking cool. But actually, some of these approaches are fucking weird. They're not going that well. They're not the best illustration of what this could be. Some of them actually, like the fore set. I mean, that was like the most random shit of all time. We fucking got 2 trams together. So it's like, there's a lot of off the wall things that happen. I saw a coach, forget the guy's name, but he did an approach, which was a breakdown, which was obviously with a model, obviously, or maybe his girlfriend. She looked great, he looked great. It was a sound video, but it was obviously clearly not a real approach. But it got like a lot of views. I think it got into the millions of views. I was like, huh, that's interesting, because if he's actually coaching, that's what's getting people through the door. You know, it's all right being a purist. You know, like so like obviously Ephraim at Paul University, he's like nailing all this stuff up, and it's all quality. But what if he just went out with a model, paid $500, and did a proper breakdown? He might get 1 million views. Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for RSD stuff.
Marco, who the fuck do you think he is? I'm Joseph, mate. I'm just a fucking bald guy in Macedonia. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think they had a good impact overall, to be honest. I do think they had a good impact overall. And I actually do understand why, like, some of the stuff they might have been using models and things like that. Like, I do fucking get it. Um, yeah. If I do it, like, something I was thinking about, is like, should I just hire a model and just do a breakdown for guys? I don't know. It's something you could guarantee. Um, or maybe get a girlfriend or something to do it with you, you know. Do you know what I mean? I think things like that, I do kind of understand why people would do it. Um, yeah, was there anything else? Yeah, that was a whole era, wasn't it? That whole RSD era. They were the big dogs in the space. Um, I think anything which actually gives men a sense of like they can actually do it, that this is actually possible, um, I think is solid. Have you visited Kosovo? No, but I'm actually considering it. Yeah, that might be in the pipeline. Yeah, because it's nearby. Um, yeah, Christian actually mentioned this week. Basically, you know, like don't worry too much about whether content producers are actually accurate or not and technical and if they're even good at approach. It's just are they actually inspiring people? It's like that's actually quite an interesting point. Um, yeah, doing something's better than doing nothing, even if you like not maybe it's not optimal. Um, Yeah, I remember SB. You said you loved the fact that like Owen Cook would go and order like tonic water or some shit like that. Like you know, just these kind of like interesting social angles. Yeah, yeah. I actually think he would be a fucking mental guy to party with. To be honest, I bet he's fucking nuts on a night out. I bet he's absolutely fucking nuts. Um, yeah, I think all these guys like Mystery as well. Anyone who's doing positive things, even like Jordan Peterson, you know, fuck some of the stuff he says some weird stuff, but like, yeah, yeah, he never drank, yeah. Um, who would be my favorite out of that space? I like Iceberg Slim, and he's like too X rated, obviously. I also do like what's he called? The one we shared in the entourage. Oh God, he was an actor. Like the mode Alan Roger Curry. He's a fucking absolute demon. Alan Roger Curry is fucking sick, dude. What he understood, with probably without understanding it, is it's all about who you are. He projected his sexuality, man, big time. Yeah, big time. Yeah, he bought a green tea bag to the club and just ordered hot water when he was there. I used to do these really fucking stupid things when I go to the club a lot. I used to do these stupid things like, I think I probably heard it from a dating coach. But I did it anyway. I was like, I'd take a Nutrigrain bar to the club because I was like, I might need a snack. And I'd just be in the smoking area just eating a Nutrigrain bar. Yeah, I've fucking done that a few times. And then it's funny people's perceptions of you as well. I remember like when I had some health issues, I was smoking weed purely for health. Because if I went to a club, I'd take a sheesh with me purely because honestly purely because I was like I won't be able to get through the night otherwise, or I'll have to take some other type of like you know codeine or some shit. I had like actual real health problems, and then like some girls were saying like they met me, and then a few weeks later like oh yeah we thought you were like really rebellious. You know what I mean you just fucking skidding up in the smoking area like an absolute G. I was like I didn't say anything. I didn't lay like I didn't play it down, but it's just interesting people's perceptions. You know, rad dap. Get a haircut, mate. These people, this is not a low IQ stream, brother. This is for high intelligence people, so you're gonna be going. Sorry, prof. I'm just kicking you out. Please, I don't even mind insults, right? Just make them good. Cappuccino at the pub. Yeah. When you're having a break. See, I will finish up soon. I've literally, this is my favorite live I've ever done because the comments have been, apart from the retards, have been so fucking interesting. So many intelligent comments, so many people. So yeah, you ordered a coffee and people looked at you like you're mad. England is the only place where people are so mentally fucked they think it's weird for a grown man to order a soft drink. It's completely fucking bizarre. It's one of the most irritating things. It's one of the things I truly actually hate. I'll say I actually hate this about Britain. I actually hate it. Like, it's perfectly fucking normal not to drink. It's optional. You don't have to. Yeah? Like, you can go to Turkey, drink fucking tea, drink cappuccino. I was drinking tea till all hours of the fucking night. You drink tea and smoke a shisha. You can drink tea and just drink tea. Every other country, you can just do whatever you want. In England, there's a weird social pressure to drink. I'm sorry, it's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. It's crabs in the bucket. Ryanair stag do's at 5 a.m. Test my patience. So have you worked with eating's cheating? RJ, have you worked with Christian before? There's someone who's been on my lives who I think has worked with Christian in the past. I don't know, I can't remember if it was you. Yeah, there was a guy actually who emailed me a couple of weeks, about 3 weeks ago. No, but you'd love to. Yeah. There's a guy who emailed me about 3 weeks ago, um, who's, I don't know what he was after. It sounded like he wanted coaching or something. But then I didn't hear back from him. Yeah. I've been thinking about what kind of program would suit different guys. I actually do think I actually do think I could get someone from, should we say, a zero, never done cold approach before, to like let's say a three or a four, like could do an approach, you know. I think I could actually do that remotely. There's a limit to how much you can obviously do remotely because you can't see, and I still think I'm only at like maybe a five, maybe a six. I don't know. Um, Inconsistent. Sometimes I'm probably higher than that, um, but yeah, the what you can actually do remotely. When I was thinking about this, I think on an 8 week course, I think I could get someone from definitely from a zero to a three in cold approach, daytime cold approach. I'm pretty confident of that. And it would be like like a weekly session 1-to-1, and then also like a virtual wing as well. And I think the virtual ring would be really important in that as well. I think that would be a good program for a beginner. Um, and then if you did actually go to do an immersion after that, you'd be much better placed to do it, in my opinion. Um, that would be like quite an interesting, I think, almost like a basic training. You go to do Christian's immersion, that's like fucking, you know, Hell Week. Then you do basic training before that, before you get to Hell Week. I need to do a Hell Week actually this year. I did Hell Week in Dominican supermarkets last year. That was my Hell Week. Yeah, I mean The Guardian. I mean, what do you want me to say about that, dude? I don't even. It's I mean, it's written by men who have like they literally have like inverted penises. The guys who write those articles for The Guardian, dude. How that's the most like it's Guardian's basically communism. You know, they make out that it's not. In any normal country, they would be considered communists. Yeah, like criticizing cold approach. Why? Well, just to tie this back to evolutionary theory, people who are low on the totem pole, or the last thing I'll say about evolutionary theory as well, in relation to cold approach, it's doing a straight up ballsy cold approach shows almost the greatest level of evolutionary fitness that you can possibly show, which is extreme boldness and confidence. and social finesse. So the act itself of cold approach is one of the most evolutionary fit things you can do. And if the girl pretty much likes the look of you, you're absolutely fucking in. If the girl hates the look of you, it's not going to work. But if she pretty much likes the look of you, and that's just the fucking throw of the coin, isn't it? But yeah, it's one of the most evolutionary fit things you can ever fucking do. But yeah, to tie back in the evolutionary biology, like a lot of like male feminists and stuff like that, it's just in a way to ally yourself with women to try to hope you get a girlfriend. You're going in through this weird back door where you're just like, wait, if I just hide my dick, they might see me as non-threatening, then I can fuck them. It's that's what feminists are doing, male feminists are doing. And then just like ugly girls and stuff like this, runtish women who are old, minging old hags. They're just irrelevant to the true sexual competition. You know, they're spouting off their opinions, and it's like, you know, it's all based in resentment in a lot of cases. Hamster communism. That's fucking perfect. Yeah. I mean, it's a joke, mate. It's a fucking joke. The British press it's such a controlled media environment. It's, I would say the British press is not far off as being as controlled as, like, my mate says North Korea. I'm not sure I'd go quite that far, but I bet it's not that far away. It's not that far away. It's consensus building apparatus. That's what it is. Thomas Smith. I don't know who you are, Thomas, but thanks for joining. Yeah. Well, you notice when you travel, let me put it that way. You notice the brainwashing happening in the UK. It's disgusting, to be honest. Zara, you saucy little thing. Oh my goodness. Look at you. Wait, let me have a look at you, Zara. Your avatar, hold on. That looks like Xena Warrior Princess. Yeah. Right. I'm going to stop simping for Zara. Right, boys. It's been fucking awesome. Slightly weird, someone, I don't know, I feel slightly weirded out. Someone, like, said something earlier on that slightly weirded me out, which I'm going to think about when I leave this live, but it's been a fucking sick live. Take it easy, boys. Best wishes to all of you. May you all triumph in your approaches. May you all build your life castles up so that you don't even give a shit about approaches anymore. So that your maidens just flock to you. Yeah. Take it easy.